views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Meetings of the Minds in partnership with BronxNet Television. As you all know, these segments were born out of the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, where we all pretty much had to get creative to make sure that our members and partners and affiliates continue to maintain some form of connectivity, so we can all be aware of the resources that are out there to continue to partner and work together, and most importantly, give back to our communities. Joining us today is Robert Rush. Robert Rush is a brand strategy and marketing manager at Facebook. Yeah, people, we got Facebook in the house, all right?
That's discharged.
We connect, all right? We connect and use our network and resources to bring you the very best. So Robert manages partnerships with some of Facebook's largest retailers, helping them excel their marketing programs, performance, execute creative solutions, and align their business objective on Facebook's family of apps, including Instagram and Messenger. Before Facebook, Robert graduated summa cum laude from Harvard University, earning a dual degree in socio-political theory and African American studies. Robert grew up in the Hunts Point area of the Boogie Down Bronx, one of our very own. So it is such a blessing and an honor to have you with us, Robert. First and foremost, how are you and how's the family?
Wow. Well, one, thank you so much for that incredible introduction. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here, both physically, metaphorically, and symbolically given this time period. The fact that we are able to continue to connect, be it virtually, is a blessing. And I'm good, God willing. The family is good as well. And, you know, I hope that with what's going on, that we continue to find these ways to build in some sense of normalcy while adapting to the changes that are coming. So I have a positive outlook on things going forward, and hoping that we continue to do well in that regard.
Absolutely. No, thank you for that. You know, this has definitely been a period of adjustment for so many of us. Facebook being a powerhouse in the digital space, you know, tell us a little bit about your line of work there. What do you do? And you used to go into the office, but now you're working remotely. And talk to us a little bit how that has been for you.
For sure. I can talk on a little bit more about what I do, and then also how things have shifted for me since the pandemic and moving to working from home. So as mentioned a little bit earlier, I focus on helping brands, businesses really understand how to use Facebook to tell their story, right, at the center of it, and what it means to grow that story with our platform and meeting people who are likely to listen and that they want to engage with. So that's thinking about a particular business objective, such as branding a new pair of jeans, to how a company is shifting their message around certain moments in society. We help them use Facebook's family of apps that includes Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and the Facebook platform itself to reach the people where they're most likely to see that message, right? 1 in 5 digital minutes are being spent on Facebook's families of apps across the world. We have over 3 billion people who access our platform every month. So given that, with our mission of trying to connect the world and bring it closer together, how do we not only bring people together to their families where they need it most, but also to the businesses that they rely on for certain services as well? So it's been a really great time. You know, I've been at Facebook for 2 years now. I've been doing this work since I graduated, and it's been really enlightening, particularly given what's going on now and seeing as the world is being shifted into this more technological way of being and way of working and communicating, right? So a lot of my work is also rooted in how do companies help people interact with them in a new place that is more tech centric, that is more digital, and the ways in which we can support on those efforts too.
Yeah, it has definitely been a process for a lot of us, right, that are not used to this digital space. So many of us had to relearn digital, and that it goes even beyond just the quirky videos we see online, or just sharing random thoughts on a daily basis, right? Many business people, especially small business people in the Black and Latino community, they're becoming aware of how this platform could now help their business grow, where in the past it's been very intimidating. How do you speak to the smaller business, or what advice do you have for us so that we're not intimidated to go into these platforms?
That's a great question. And to start, I would just say, one, that we hear you, and understanding that a lot of people are not only coming online, but utilizing digital and different digital devices in a way that they haven't done before. Listen, my own mother, right? Like, she still calls me every single day to help her figure out how to sign into Netflix, right? And I think when you think about the way in which people who are used to dealing very in person are now moving online, it is on the onus of those platforms to make it easier to do so. So from a Facebook perspective, we have been about small businesses from our founding, and creating digital advertising tools and marketing tools that people can leverage for free, as well as put behind certain paid dollars to help scale and grow some of their messaging. So on Facebook, we try to make it as easy as possible to get started. If you're just a one-stop shop, right? A lot of businesses most affected by the coronavirus pandemic has been Black and brown businesses, has been the businesses that we know and love. And that's something that we're in tune to, and are creating very prescriptive aspects to solve, from business grants to sponsoring our Elevate program, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So there are different suite of options that Facebook offers in order for businesses to get started. And one of those is starting a business page. We make it very easy to create a business page on Facebook. You can make one as long as you have a profile. If you have a personal Facebook profile, you can use a business page. They actually look very similar. The only difference is that business page is what your store's representation is on our platform. So people can go there to understand when you're opening, what type of messages you guys are having on a particular week or day, and learn information about your business, where they're also connecting with friends and family, right? And it makes it easier for people to see you on their timelines and in their engagements when you're on our platform. The other way in which we make it easy for businesses to access our platform is that everything is integrated. So your business page on Facebook is integrated with your Instagram page, and there's ways in which those platforms work together to allow any type of marketing that you're pushing to be one-to-one, right? And what that means is that if you're posting something on Instagram, you can easily cross-post it to Facebook as well, which makes it easier for you to keep up with the content that you may be producing on a week-to-week basis. So the last thing that I want to touch on, and we can go into more detail about this for sure, is we have what we call our Blueprint course, which takes people for free through a immersive step-by-step process of how to get started on Facebook for advertising. We talk about what does it mean to start a business page. We talk about how do you promote yourself on Instagram? What type of creative strategies help to drive people to store or increase your brand awareness? How do you think about how do you think about video versus images in terms of what you're pushing, in terms of your content? These are all lessons that we provide for free through Facebook Blueprint. You can find it on blueprint.com. And it's a great way to get started in your knowledge base and help you feel more comfortable with executing on Facebook with your marketing.
Is this something that people read, or is there an actual person giving us the tutorial for the blueprints?
So we've made in order to make it more accessible for everybody to use, we've made it where it is a self-serve option, but there are video engagements. So when you're on Blueprint, somebody will be speaking back to you to talk to you about what you're about to learn, what you can learn from it. And within each module, which are the different sections, you'll have a recap test, if you will, which is just questions to ask you about the things that you have just followed. And you can always return back to review the materials, which is really helpful too. Sometimes when you have one-person sessions, you're rushing to get all the notes down because you don't want to miss out on any of the information. Again, going back to the fact that we're moving to a more digital way of doing things, having something that people can always return back to and continue to review, that's also engaging, is very important to us, and also creates more access in case people aren't able to participate in a live environment.
Got you. You spoke about integration, right? And even when social media became a thing, as business people, we always knew that it was important to separate your personal life from your business. What advice do you give to people on doing that? Right? We still want to kind of be private on social media and also be taken seriously for our businesses. What advice do you have on that?
It's a good question. I think it is a matter of distinction, right? Social media has converged a lot of aspects of our lives. And for small businesses in particular, your small business is a large part of your life as well. And it can be a little bit tricky to navigate what you keep to yourself and what you keep for your business. So I would say it's important to have a kind of understanding of your message, your business's message and mission statement, because that is what you can go to market with as the owner of this business or as an employee of this business, and separate from you as a person. One of the ways in which we're able to do that with Facebook in particular is your business page is separate from your personal page. So while your business page will be public and everybody can see it, your personal page remains private. Just because you own that business page doesn't mean that I can go to your personal page and see what you posted to your grandma's timeline. No, those are actually kept distinct. However, I think it's important to recognize that as a proprietor of a business, people really want to hear from you. And that's the power that social media brings. So I would leverage your sense as a owner of that business through the business page and create content where you're engaging with your followers in a meaningful way. For instance, for me, I help run a few pages for some organizations that I worked with back at school. And what we did was we had a feature of old directors of mentoring program that we had to talk about what it meant for them to be a part of that program. Now, that has nothing to do with what their personal lives were, but you're still able to see that person themselves talk about what that business meant to them. So that's a way in which you can continue to engage in a meaningful way that leverages you and your social capital that you have as a person to help your business without digging too deep into your own personal life itself.
No, and thank you for mentioning the organizations that you worked with in the past. Just take it back a little bit. Are you able to give us an example of a small business that you've helped leverage the Facebook and Instagram and Messenger platform and had a good success story come out of it? If you can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So a small business that I've worked with actually is our very own Boogie Down Grind Cafe in the Bronx. I've been helping them get online with Instagram in order to boost their messages for their new products, the t-shirt lines, cafe lines, and also store openings. Through that, we've been able to see an increase in engagement and follower count on their page, as well as more people coming in from outside of the borough to visit the shop. And that's really important, particularly for businesses that are local, like the ones that exist in our neighborhoods, right? These businesses not only operate as a different understanding of what our community can offer, but also a different understanding of what the Bronx has and contains and can offer as well. So it's been really exciting working with the Boogie Down Grind Cafe, and looking forward to continuing to help other businesses in that same light. One other organization in which I worked with is a nonprofit organization called Goddard Riverside, and I've been helping them with their work as well. And most recently have been working with the Bronx Relief Effort, which is a coalition of Bronx organizations that got together in order to help mitigate a lot of the issues that persisted in the Bronx before the coronavirus and were exaggerated by it. And through that, we've been able to use Instagram and Facebook to reach new donors for our relief effort donation funds, and also continue to spread the message of what the Bronx is doing in light of COVID through to a larger audience. So there's been a lot of different ways in which I've been in a small way been able to help small businesses and other organizations that are doing the work that's important right now, leveraging Facebook and Instagram and Messenger to do so.
No, this is, I understand how vested you are, right, in our communities, coming from an underserved community yourself, right? So you have a direct tie to communities of color. I'm wondering, is this across Facebook as well? Do we see, our white brothers and sisters utilizing these opportunities to lift communities that they may not understand, but they're willing to go wholeheartedly to help them as well?
That's a great question, and I'm happy that you asked it. And I think I'll take a step back and just talk about allyship in general in this moment, right? We as Americans have a long way to go in terms of our understanding of our nation's history and what it means to really show up for the people who need it most. When it comes to our Black and Brown communities, we have been integral to this country's success and development, and it is important that we continue to hold those in power and privilege accountable to the future that we want to see for ourselves and our well-being. Now, that extends across industries from tech to finance to even the nonprofit world. And one of the things that I've been proud about in terms of working at Facebook, and Facebook, as well as many companies, has a long way to go, is that we've been proactive about understanding what it means to show up in that way. Facebook is the first company of its kind to do a proactive audit, as you guys have seen in the news from the civil rights organizations. And we're not going to get it right all the time, but I think it's that effort to want to learn and to be able to fail publicly that really sets companies apart and demonstrates what it means to really step up in that way. Internally, I've been able to have a lot of my colleagues and peers help me out in some of the initiatives that I've done. Before the coronavirus, I used to bring in several high schools and other youth-oriented organizations to come to Facebook at a program that I've created called the Facebook Immersion Program, which allows for organizations that are in youth development, be it schools or be it after-school programs, to come to Facebook for a day and learn what it's like to be a Facebook employee. And many of the people who sign up and also help to support my program were non-Black and non-Latino and non-members of our communities. And having that support system is important, especially as somebody who is a Black employee that exists at the company, to know that I'm in an environment that, while it's continuing to learn and improve, is also willing to invest in the people who are pushing it forward.
Very admirable, Robert. I think that you're such an important example of when young men and women of color, Latino, Brown communities, LGBTQ community get to these opportunities, that they understand how important it is to keep those doors open and pull us up. I had no idea that you created this program for the youth. It's so important, and it just shows how invested you are in making sure that we provide the opportunities needed to continue to grow and thrive. Tell me about this other program that you're also a part of, which is Elevate.
Yes.
Facebook Elevate. I've been a part of it. I loved it, but I would love our community to understand what it is and how they can get involved.
No problem. So Elevate, for those who've known of it in the past, was formerly known as Level Up. And it was a program that was founded by Black and Brown employees to provide specific, strategic digital marketing advice to Black and Brown and minority-owned businesses. How can we create and institutionalize a program at Facebook that leverages the skill sets of our team and our experts, as well as the tools that exist to specifically help Black and brown businesses succeed? And Elevate is a program that we have been running strong with for the last 3 years. We have currently brought it completely online and accessible to folks. If you are interested, all you have to do is Google Elevate Facebook on your browsers, and you can be a part of our live sessions that we do every month. For the last 2 months since COVID has started, we have launched 4 different programs and workshops geared specifically towards Black and brown and women-owned businesses in particular, right? Because intersection is important. And Black women are the fastest growing entrepreneurial class in society today. So we're very in tune to the fact that not only are we here to support Black and brown folks, but also the intersections of those identities as well. That's Black and brown women, that's our queer brothers and sisters as well. That's everyone that's important here to think about who's growing businesses. So Elevate is a program that's specific to that community. And what we're currently doing is creating an online curriculum, which you can access now through our Facebook page. We have all of the live classes posted there, our Instagram page as well, and our website that's currently out on Elevate. And what we're doing is we're curating more programming that should meet the needs of more businesses that are out there. We're in the process of recruiting businesses now to understand from you, what is it that you want to see from the program, particularly given some of the impacts that have happened because of the coronavirus, and ways in which we can continue to help out in that way. So yeah, Elevate is a great program. It's definitely something that has grown and it continues to grow with a labor of love from a lot of employees, Black and non-Black and brown, from around the company.
No, this is really good to know. Great information. If the chamber wanted to partner with Facebook Elevate or Level Up, how do we do that? You mentioned you partnering with some businesses right now. We definitely want to be an important part of that. So that's question number 1 as we close. And question number 2 as we close, how do we get in contact with you, or what team should our small businesses be contacting in order to get them started with Facebook and marketing?
For sure. So to get started with Facebook and marketing, I would say 1, make sure that you have a business page set up. And honestly, I cannot stress this enough, but check out our Facebook Blueprint courses. They are incredible in terms of getting you the foundational steps that you need to feel comfortable with moving on Facebook. And the reason why I say that is our goal is to create a platform that allows anybody who wants to be a business owner to upstart right away, right? You don't need to have somebody from Facebook holding your hand or somebody from Facebook or Instagram to do so. Our tool should be easy enough to use for you to be able to access it on your own. And if they're not, that's a problem on our part, right? So I would say look at our Blueprint courses, because honestly, they are the foundations for what you will need to get started. And if you're interested in the Elevate program itself, right, I would say check us out on Facebook, right? Quick plug. Check us out on Facebook at Elevate at Facebook. And with there, you can send a message through the Facebook page or the email that's provided on the page as well, and provide your feedback, right? The Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is a great organization in New York in particular that has a lot of ties to the community. And that's a community that we would want to hear from. So shoot us an email or a note and let us know how we can best be helpful in terms of a potential partnership, or what it would look like to support this community in a meaningful way. And then lastly, if you guys are interested in getting to know me more and asking me any questions, my line is open. You can find me on Instagram at _no-need-to-rush, or you can email me as well at rush@fb.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you so much. Listen, I'm going to take you up on that.
Please do.
Follow up and we follow through. But
yeah, and Suma will tell you, I'll answer. It might take me some time if it's email or whatever, but I definitely will answer. You guys can reach me on the digitals. I'm very well versed on all of those. So yeah, hit me with your questions.
Yeah. And let me tell you, just really quickly speaking to our members and partners and affiliates, Robert Rush is the truth. He is an admirable young man, incredible. I mean, what you see is what you get. He's invested. He is a part of our community. And one of the things that really drew me to him, I also live in the Hunts Point community of the Bronx. And when I spoke to this young man, Harvard graduate, he was trying to find an apartment and he wanted to stay in his community.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to make sure that he was not part of the brain drain. And he wanted to make sure that the young men and women living in these communities have an example like Robert Rush. So he is in a space that he is invested in helping each and every one of us wholeheartedly. So definitely look out for him. He's one to watch, get in contact with him, communicate with him. He's an incredible human being. So Robert, with that being said, thank you.
Wow.
I just want to make sure I give you the accolades. Let me tell you, I admire you so much. So we appreciate
it's mutual.
saying yes.
It is mutual. Thank you again. I'm nothing but humbled to be here, and I wouldn't be here without my mother, right? You know, the many strong Black mothers who are out there, you know, supporting their entire family as well as their communities with the endurance that only Black women have. And for me to be here means that I have so much more to give back, and that's exactly why I'm here. So if I can be helpful in any way, please let me know. And thank you again for this honor and opportunity to be a part of this session.
No, thank you. And for Facebook, he's a keeper. He has an entire community behind him. Believe me, you're so lucky. You know it. You know it. Thank you so much, Robert. We appreciate you.
Thank you.